All right, take it away now.
Okay. All right, let's go in. And good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. We begin with a major development in the oil and gas sector. Now, in what appears to be a significant relief for Nigerians, the Dangote refinery has announced a reduction in its ex-depot price of fuel from 950 naira to 890 naira per litre. Now, this move comes amid rising concerns over the cost of living and the continuous impact of the fuel prices on transportation and goods across the country. Now, in a statement, the company said the move is effective from Saturday, 1st February 2025. Now, the Dangote Group Chief Branding and Communications Officer, Anthony Chijina, said this strategic adjustment is a direct response to the positive outlook within the global energy gas markets, as well as the recent reduction in international crude oil prices. Now, Mr. Chijina recalled that Dangote Refinery a few weeks ago implemented a modest increase in the price of essential commodity due to the previously rising international crude oil prices.
However, the spokesman said the most recent price revision reflects the ongoing fluctuations in global crude oil markets and the plan's unwavering commitment to transparency and fairness. The statement further reads that Dangote Petroleum Refinery firmly believes that this reduction from 950 naira to 890 naira will result in a meaningful decrease in the cost of petrol nationwide, thereby driving down the prices of goods and services, as well as the overall cost of living, with a positive ripple effect on various sectors of the economy. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery called on marketers to collaborate in this effort to ensure that these benefits are passed to the Nigerian populace. And joining us to further discuss this issue is the Secretary of the Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, Tor James, and he joins us live in the studio. It's good to have you in our studio this morning.
Good morning, DJ So. How are you?
Very well. And via Zoom, we'll have joining us a petroleum engineer and former asset manager of Chevron, Alex Ney. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you.
All right, it's good to have you. Well, we'll begin with you in the studio. Let's talk about the pump prime, which was recently, reduced by the Dangote Refinery and NNPC Limited. But there are strong indications that this reduction may not immediately reflect in the pump price because of some marketers still have old stock left. But when there is an increase, there is an immediate jack-up of these prices. Why is this so?
Well, that's a very good question. Before I go to the question, my name, as you said, is Honorable James Telumonto. I'm the National Secretary of Independent Petrol Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMA. IPMA is a creation by the federal government. It's an umbrella organization with over 30,000 membership of registered companies having petroleum dispensing stations across every nook and cranny of the country, over 150,000. So our core business is to ensure that petroleum products are available in every corner of the country. Now, coming back to the price issue you are talking, as you know, petrol business is something that is very volatile, and when a policy is changed, it takes a process because you move it to the place of abode. It takes some time. And again, if marketers have their products and there's price decrease, if the product you bought is on the higher level, honestly, you look at that disparity. But good, what Dangote is doing, that is the game in the business of petroleum products, because fuel is an international business, and refining is determined by the international price under Platt. But coming down to the refined products, when the prices are down, definitely it will descend down. And as it descends down, definitely IPMA members too will have to comply so that the federal government will achieve the policy they are pursuing.
But I think our question actually is that when there is a hike in price, automatically you reflect it in your pump price.
But when there is a reduction,
you now tell Nigerians that it will take time. Why is that variation?
Now, definitely when there is a hike in price, you know that if you sell below that, definitely you cannot go back to the market. If you sell what you have below that price, you cannot afford to go to the price.
That was an old stock.
With your old stock, because you bought it on high this thing, and they increase the price again. So if you sell less, so it's a common this thing. Definitely.
the market
forces.
Okay.
Because if you definitely have a stock, for instance, you bought this stock at let's say 1,000 per liter, and they now increase the price 1,020. There's no way you will still say at 1,000.
So do marketers also have any influence in increase in pump price, because it seems to be in their favor when they have old stock on ground and there's a jack-up?
Because they jack up because they have to go back to the market. If you say below that, you can't go back to the market. It's a common sense. You cannot even...
But Nigerians will not agree with that as a common sense. Nigerians will not agree with the common sense because, you see, with all these fluctuations, the other time Dangote increased the price because, according to them, international price, now it's reduced. At the end of the day, it is the consumers that bear the brunt. You smile to the bank with your profit, with your gains and all that. Dangote also smiles. But ultimately, whatever cost you have incurred is passed to the consumer.
You see, the cost of dealing in petroleum products, in most cases, the funds are sourced from the banks. So you have to take note of that. By the time you decide that, you will now, because this has increased, you will still sell at this. You can't go back to the bank to fund your this thing. So these are the indices that cause that thing to maintain in the manner you are asking. Because definitely, if they reduce the price, we reduce. For instance, from 950 to 890, definitely, there's a margin there. And definitely, independent marketers will comply. By the time they get it, definitely it will be on this. Because if you go and reduce your old price, what do you go and tell your banks? That they will still give you money to go to the market.
All right, we'll still discuss more on that, but let's come to you, Mr. Alex. Let's talk about the local refining of PMS by the Port Harcourt refinery. Why do you think that this has not really amounted to a significant reduction in pump price, as everyone has expected?
Well, I think the person that spoke earlier, I think it boils down to our usual cheating concept. When the pump price is increased and you have old stock, you jack it up because you want to make all the money in the world. That is the cheating pattern in this country. When they drop it, they will give reasons. That's just bullcrap. I think it's just the cheating habit of Nigerians, and that's what is displaying. When they say common sense, that's not common sense. That's open cheating. And we leave that aside. You talk about the refinery in Port Harcourt supplying fuel, and the prices are still there. Some 2 years ago, I was on this program. We're talking about, the simple law of supply and demand does not work in Nigeria because people go out of their way to kill the law. That is the law of supply and demand. So when there's increase, the price should come down. What will Nigerians do? They hoard. They hoard the products. So when they hoard the products, then it creates artificial scarcity for price to go up. It's just unethical things we're doing. We have to review ourselves. In as much as people want to make profit, your profit margin barest minimum with high volume, you still make profits. But this greed for money, I don't know where it's driving us to. We have violated all the basic, simple economic laws that has ever existed in this world by virtue of our greed. The product coming from Port Harcourt refinery increased the initial volume. So when that volume is increased, naturally the price should come down. but it's not going to happen. And I said it long, but some years back. We have to change who we are. The greed factor in us is too much. And that's why the marketers will tell you, once the price increase, immediately they change. When the price drop, they will tell you to take us some time and start dragging feet. It's all just, it doesn't make sense. Whoever is adjusting that price, they know that the old stock they have, even if they sell at the price they are coming up with, they will still break even. But these guys want to maximize, if they can pack the intestines of Nigerians, they will. So these are the things we have to address. Where do we stop with this greed? And that's what is killing this country.
Quite an interesting
now,
one.
Now, if you steal 1 million, it doesn't make sense. We have to steal 1 billion for you to really, for people to know you've stolen. So it's pure ethics. We should all purge our systems. So both people at the refinery, the marketers, everybody should sit down and say, what do we do to put this country on the right path? All this greed is what is responsible. The product is coming from the refinery. Yes. We'll
take a quick commercial break and we'll be back to you shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll still have more for you on the program. Stay with us. We'll be right back. TVC Breakfast, and we're live in Abuja, in our Abuja studio. Now, let's talk. We're still speaking with you, Mr. Alex, and we have heard threats made by Ipman about two weeks ago to resume importation of petroleum products because they argue that it is cheaper to, buy for import fuel. But my question is, why is it more expensive to locally produce this petrol than import?
Well, if we know what we are doing, it shouldn't be cheaper importing if we know what we are doing. Because basically, those people who are refining out there, they take the crude from here back there, they refine, cost of taking it there, cost of refining and bringing it back, you put all those things together, it doesn't make sense for imported product to be cheaper. Because right here, you are producing it right here. The cost of freight to go and come outside the country is cut off. It's reduced. Either because we don't have our logistics right. Because if you're going to put trucks on the road to carry fuel from one location to the other, by the time you bring it from the port, it's still going to take trucks to move it around. So there's no reason why imported product should be cheaper than what we are, unless we are saying our refineries, they are not efficient. If they are efficient, you put a certain volume of crude into your machine, a certain products come out of it, no matter how bad the efficiency is between the foreign refineries and ours, it cannot make sense for the price out there to be cheaper than what we refine here. All right. This is something we have to look into, and it's systemic. It's systemic because of the way we do things.
All right.
It's systemic because there's no reason for it. There's just no reason why the petrol you import from outside will be cheaper than the one you produce here, because the logistics of bringing it from there down here does not exist here, because when it gets to the port, you're going to pay port charges and all that, then tankers will start carrying. But these ones, the refinery, they are on space, on ground here, so the transport is just your truck to wherever. You can even go further to revitalize the pipelines, and it's just pumping from one main station to the other. You reduce the distance, the trucks will go. But no, there's no reason whatsoever.
All right.
Unless we are saying refineries don't refine, the efficiency is very low to the point that when you put in X barrel, the Y you get out of it is far, far lower than what you find in the US or
all right,
UK
Mr.
or
Alex,
whatever.
Mr. Alex, we'll come back to you. Just hold your thought there, Mr. Alex. We'll come back to you. Now, Mr. Tor, from what he has just said, at what point do we draw a balance between government policies, subsidy management, and the global oil prices? Because we keep saying the consumers bear the brunt. Just like the other question, there was a threat to start importing. So at what point do we draw a balance and ensure that ordinary Nigerians get the benefits?
Well, that's a good question. And it's part of the reason why I try to explain what ITMA, Independent Petrol Marketers, are all about. We are in the area of supply and distribution. Government set up, there is an arm of government, is NMDPR. This is the agency, the authority that regulates whatever concerns the petroleum products. So I think they are in a very better position. Like Alex is talking of, okay, you asked him about importing, and the imported price is cheaper than this thing. ITMA is not in a better position to answer that. That is the organization. ITMA concern is, if the price is cheap, we rush to get the product from there. So when you are talking of review or fixing of the prices and all these things, Nigerian midstream, downstream, petroleum regulatory authority are the people who are in charge of doing that. And I wish you call them so that we get more enlightened about it.
We still have a situation of where petroleum products are being taken out of the country through our land borders and sold at a higher rate. And this has caused shortages to Nigerian consumers. It has caused, fuel scarcity and all of that. My question is, why has it been so difficult for IPMAN, to control this trend and, mitigate this economic sabotage?
In fact, I can't deny that people are not saying something like that. IPMAN is aware of that, and it will interest you to know that towards the end of last year, IPMAN inaugurated a committee, a task force, to monitor all those type of sharp practices, diversions, product adulteration, and name them, all the sharp practices. So our national president, Alhaji Abubakar Megandi Shetima, in his wisdom, quickly set up a committee which they are handling that. And I'm very sure if something is happening like that, we will soon know the truth about it.
Well, how soon should we see results from
How
this
soon?
committee?
We are collaborating with the security agencies. We cannot arrest. So in as much as we have inaugurated our committee, we are still writing security agencies. We even had meetings with, in fact, when we were inaugurating, all of them were there. So we are following up so that wherever an individual or a group are caught up with this type of practices, we call on them to effect arrest. So I'm sure by the time they start full work, as we start the year, you will see the result of that too.
Just a quick one before we go to our guest on Zoom.
Yeah.
With the threats, initial threats to imports, Dangote now decided to reduce the price. I guess your members also have placed orders. So what happens? You're running at a loss or what? Because you've placed order, now the price has dropped. So where does that place these private companies that are under IPMAN, that are also involved, out to make profits?
Well, you see, this price dropping and price not being really affected and elsewhere, there are instances, cases which have witnessed. Somebody, some of our members, they paid for over 10 billion of product. They were evacuating, they moved the products to their storage facility. And within the week, the price was dropped. 10 billion, they lost instantly, over 1.something billion or 2 billion. And if you go and then reduce the price of what you already have, rather, you will blend with that gap so that to sustain yourself in the business. So this is a very delicate issue. But honestly, ITMA is at the verge of ensuring that the common man is enjoying the prices of petroleum products. So that is why we are looking everywhere that we can get the product cheap, we sell cheaply.
Well, let's come to you, Mr. Alex. We'll come back to you. Let's talk about the community relations in oil-producing regions and the impact it has had on crude oil production. Has there been any significant improvement over the years, especially with plans to resume production in Ogoniland, bearing in mind what the people suffered due to the strained relationship with Shell Development and Petroleum Corporation? Mr. Alex, can you hear me? All right, let's come to you. My concern right now is about the level of petroleum tanker explosions we've seen in recent times. This has killed over 3,000 people in 15 years, and the tragedy keeps occurring almost every quarter. Talk to us about the safety measures IPMAN is putting in place to ensure stakeholders involved in this transportation of petroleum products do not put the lives of innocent citizens at risk.
Honestly, seriously, it is. And our recent, we have engaged road safety. We're having meetings with them and to wait so that they will show our petroleum tanker drivers, and we are discussing together as a stakeholder in the group so that they will control some of their drivers. And honestly, they have to...
Sorry, just hold your thoughts there. We'll come back to you. Now, Mr. Alex, are you there?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. You have a question?
Well, I was asking you about the relations in oil-producing regions and the impact it has had on crude oil production. Has there been any significant improvement over the years, especially with the plans to resume production in Ogoniland?
What I've said is we've been doing like a yo-yo thing. Over the years, everybody in this country is aware that the area of production is being neglected. So many intervention outfits were created to alleviate the neglect. But if you go into every one of them, it's like a YouTube. People just go in there, collect money, so you cannot see the impact in the places. So no matter what the thing they're doing, this is a conscious call again, both for the IOC and the government. Let us do things right. If we do things right, everybody will be okay. Nobody wants this place to be polluted. And sometimes too, we just sit down and think all is well. I've gone around most of the places where oil is being produced in this country. And we still have this type of things going on. We're talking about oil theft. Who are the people stealing the oil?
All right, Mr. Alex, we'll come back to you. If you could just finish your thought, Mr. Tor, on the explosion of petrol tankers. What is IPMAN doing?
Yeah, the IPMAN has on a regular basis been engaging with our critical stakeholders, the PTD, petrol tanker drivers, and their leaders are showing a lot of concern. And there is a particular issue which I even mentioned it the other time. Our roads. What is the position of our roads? So the government should step up the repair of our roads. Because let me tell you, who suffers when those accident happens? Before you see a truckload of petrol on the road, it's a minimum of 60 million naira. That is the product. By the time you bring in the vehicle and everything, you'll be talking of over 200 million. So, and the loss of life. So, we in IPMAN, it's a very serious concern. And we'll be talking with other critical stakeholders so that they should look into it. We are urging you to talk to the government on our behalf
We'll definitely do that. Yeah. We'll definitely do that, but we've run out of time now. We hope to bring you back to continue this conversation. There's a lot to unravel in this sector, but we'll definitely bring you back. Thank you so much for your time with us, Tor James. And also thank you so much, Alex Neyin, for your time with us on the program.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, that's our offering from us here in Abuja. It's back to you in Lagos, Veronica and Ibrahim.
Thank you, TJSU, for that interview. Thank you, Oshomomo, as well. I seemingly am tilting towards Mr. Alex's position, especially as it has to do with the customers who bear the brunt when it comes to increase in prices, and these people not quickly adjusting their price when we are seeing what Dangote refinery is doing, for instance, a reduction in the price of crude oil.
Yeah. Even for me too, I just believe that whatever Dangote does at the end of the day, the refinery that have been revamped, we hope that they meet the desire of the common man on the street.
Absolutely. Thank you again, TJSU and Oshomomo.